Five, four, three, two, one. Boom. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. This is Stu with the Arcane Bear. And through all the market turmoil, we continue to navigate the waters of play to own, play to earn, however you want to look at it. We have Vincent Marty, co-founder of Darewise, one of the recently partnered studios with Animoca brands. Vincent, how are you doing today?
Hello, everyone. I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. So let's start. Just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. So my name is Vincent. I'm an engineer. I'm 38, 39 almost now. Proud father of 1.5 kids. I'm saying half because my second daughter is on her way should be arriving any minute now.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And it's been almost 15 years now that I'm in the video game industry. I started my career by entrepreneuring in the gambling space, where I developed a gambling platform early 2010, 29, something like that, before joining Ubisoft, where I met the other co-founders of Darewise, Benjamin and Sam. And I spent quite some time at Ubisoft overseeing the marketing and distribution for free-to-play and digital games across Europe. And after that, we decided to jump in and create Darewise back in 2016, something like that, 2017. And the company was very different from what it is right now, to the point where Benjamin led the company for a while I was experiencing the world of esports for a few years, joining ESL as the VP of International Development. And now I'm back at Darewise a little bit over a year now, making this fantastic game Life Beyond, and extremely happy to have joined the Animoca Brands family.
Yeah, they've got a great eye on the future. You know, this sector kind of took me by storm, and our fascination is with, games kind of set precedent regardless of language or culture. Almost every culture plays games in some kind of shape
Absolutely.
or form, and the potential for ownership of any kind of branding or IP especially as companies grow. There's a large amount of upside for the consumer that they normally just don't get to participate in at all in any way, shape, or form. So this is a very unique kind of platform for the community to be even a lot more excited about the games that they were already potentially big fans of. Tell us a little bit about Web2, just free to play games, and what that sector looked like before Web3 started.
Free to play games was initially, in early 26, 27, 28, a very, very wide far west for many people. Whether you were on the development side or on the player side, it was very, very different from what it is today. Nobody now questions free to play anymore. Everybody thinks it's normal to be allowed to play a game, even AAA quality, for free and with microtransaction in it. Back in the days, it was very different. We were all playing in a browser. Mobile game was almost non-existent in the current form, and so you had to come up with a new mindset when you were working in free-to-play industry. And being at Ubisoft and being among the first at Ubisoft to do actually free-to-play games, where they were mostly known for shipping tremendously beautiful game, box after boxes. It was a challenge. I remember when we went to certain studios back in the day with Benjamin, we had sometimes people who didn't even want to talk to us because we were making free-to-play games. People who were trying to rob money from poor people trying to have fun. And now it's very obviously very different. And I think the great knowledge that free to play brought with it, in terms of how to let the player decide what they want to actually purchase and the value they foresee in the game, is now something that expand upon Web3. And I think we have similar similarities between Web3 today and what free-to-play world was at the infancy.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. You know, here I never really have been interested in the gaming sector at all. But one of the things that we've, you know, the crypto sector has gotten right is how you reward the customer or community base for participating.
Yeah.
Often it's been in asymmetric upside to the growth of these companies, but you know, the gaming sector is doing hundreds of billions of dollars a year. So tell us a little bit about Darewise as a studio and Life Beyond, the MMO that you guys are working on right now.
Sure. So Darewise is we are about 100 people now across Europe mainly, with a few folks in North America, and we are developing this beautiful vast game called Life Beyond. Life Beyond is a free-to-play MMO game supported by blockchain technology that was from the get-go, and even before we actually integrated blockchain technology, this game was thought on the pillars of player-driven economy, true ownership, and easy accessibility. The reason we envisioned the game this way is because we always were a little bit fed up and you know, a little bit not very convinced by the former MMO model, where you had to either play it for hours and grind for hours to be on top, and don't really have the vast choice of the different activities you can do and how you wanted to contribute to these beautiful worlds. And so in Life Beyond, what we decided to go for is we wanted to modernize a little bit the MMO experience by adding this true ownership component and player-driven economy, while giving the people the ability to do whatever they want in this world. And so that's why when we realized how blockchain technology were developing and what it enabled, to make the shift completely and to turn some of the economics into you know, play and earn NFT-driven things, and also you know, push even forward this idea that in modern MMOs, maybe, or at least that's our take, not everyone needs to be the hero. You know, in traditional MMO, you are the hero. You are the big mighty knight going for slaying the monsters and slaying the dragons and collecting all the loots, and you know, that's it. I think there is more to MMOs right now, and there is more to every players right now. What if I want to be the blacksmith to actually craft the mighty weapons for these heroes? What if I want to be, you know, the inn owner to throw amazing parties and craft beautiful, delicious beers for everyone in the community? I should be able to do it, you know, and that's what Life Beyond is imagining in its full version. Right now, the game is a little bit in early stage. We are in alpha, but playable. The game should be playable for everyone this summer, this month even. And so we are extremely excited to see how people react.
Well, I'd love to. We look forward to the moment being able to play the game. We saw that you guys had done an airdrop recently. I think as a Mutant Ape owner, we ended up with one of the Dare or Life Beyond passes, I think, as well.
Yeah.
One of my thoughts here is not too much about the game specifics, because again, I'm not coming in from a
Sure.
gamer's perspective, but I'm interested in, you know, when people recognize something valuable early, how they can participate in the upside growth of that idea in any way, shape, or form. You know, I look at something like South Park. I've been a fan of. You ever watch South Park there, Vincent?
Absolutely.
You know, I wonder what would happen if South Park in the early days had done some type of NFT, you know, and then what happens if I owned Cartman or something? How do you guys, how are you guys looking at IP within the game or within the ecosystem, and then NFTs effectively? So yeah, it's a kind of a broad spectrum question. What does that conversation sound like right now?
Yeah, so I think for us, it's all about community and bringing the community together and rewarding the engagement of people. I mean, the most valuable asset that anyone can contribute with is time. You know, time and energy and passion is probably the most valuable element that you have, because you have such a limited amount of. And so we want to be able to reward those people from the get-go. And that's why we recently did an airdrop to engage with this community, to make them proud of what they have, and to immediately give them a reward for that in the form of having this collectible on top of being coming with the in-game utility. When it comes to brands, I think right now it's the best time for collaboration. There is so many things that you can do that was not possible before, at least in this new form, where there is a more I would say fair distribution of the value proposition and the value overall in the market, at the same time to create those bridges between the different IPs, to let everyone who enjoy one or the other to actually enjoy it even more in a common ground, in a common product. And that's really one of the reasons we are so early on investigating so many partnerships at Darewise to actually bridge those worlds. We're engaging with different brands, obviously within the Animoca portfolio, but also outside of it. And that's why we make an announcement, for instance, that our Bored Ape members will see their own asset in Live Beyond live. You'll be able to play your ape at some point, and we're going to demonstrate that in a very short time. And I think this is the kind of thing we want to embrace, because that's really what makes a game such alive as Live Beyond truly unique. We have that comparison because we're making a MMO game where people will evolve in cities and towns and be able to go from shop to shop or house to house. We want to recreate that feeling that you have when you walk down the street. You have different shops, different brands, everyone look different, they have their own agenda. And so we could have chosen to do it the same way GTA does it. Rockstar GTA, everybody knows this game. They've recreated all fake brands and all fake avenues and everything. What we believe in is even more powerful is if you bring real brands into such a world. And that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that's what's interesting to me, is that you find cultural adoption of IP itself. The idea in my mind, like one of the reasons why CryptoPunks as it is gained traction is because a lot of us who are here now, we grew up with Atari, these kind of first bit video generations. So the investor who was once a younger video gamer is maturing effectively. So you see an echo of the interest of where technology was when we were younger. Now, one of the things that that interests me is these kind of hits like Stardew Valley, and that games aren't as wall gardened as social media. We were really bullish on what post to earn back when Steam came out in 2017, but the social media sector is just too wall gardened at this point to really take it down. And the game sector is not that way. You have these hits like Stardew Valley where one guy makes a game that just explodes for, I guess, for storyline reasons, for community. Can you tell us a little bit about what the video game sector looks like? You talked about esports teams. Where are the pillars of the gaming community?
I think we are right now entering a very interesting era in terms of gaming, which is the creator era, which means we now have the power to give the tools to pretty much any gamer who wants to contribute to enhance and enlarge the experience of gaming that they've been playing for the whole community. Look at what Minecraft or Fortnite have been doing with their editors mode and all that. You can recreate the Versailles Castle, very famous, or the Eiffel Tower in Fortnite, and play around that, and that's tremendously exciting for many people. And I think this is really what the gaming industry looks like now. You have kind of two types of avenue to go. Either you have a so well packaged offer that there is no room for creators to express themselves because the risk of altering the world in which the game offers you to experience your fun will change dramatically. Or you have those more sandboxy toolbox where a little bit of the core experience is designed by the game developers, but what they truly do, and that's the case at Darewise, is we're developing systems and toolbox for anyone to express themselves and to create a very different experience whoever they are and whatever they're looking for. So I think this is really this new type of generation, and obviously with the access of more beautiful graphics, whether you play on mobile or PC or consoles, there is almost no limit right now to what can be done. And if you add to that the Web3 components of being able to say, yes, I contributed to that community and I get rewarded for it, then I think we are progressing very much in that industry.
So I want to check here. Does that mean in Life Beyond, there's an SDA or an SDK? I think that's correct, or like a creator pack where I can create in-game assets?
So not exactly in that form, but in Life Beyond, everything you own, everything you have for your character or you want to do, you need to craft it within the game. So if I want a new outfit, I need to go out there, find the resources to craft it and craft it myself or buy it from another player. And I think in that sense, it's already getting there where we expect to see people doing such crazy combination of things that they will be able to create unique elements in the game. Further down the road, what we want to do is that we want to open up the gate even more for any creators to develop their own activity, their own asset outside of the game even, and import that into the game. We have so many ideas right now for that, but we want to start by creating this beautiful, consistent, immersive world in which every player and every content creator will immerse themselves and have fun.
So, one of the things we think that's interesting is, first off, you find that a lot of brand adoption comes organically, like the Bored Apes or the Me Bits, that there's an interesting group of people that like those, probably due to the echo of our younger interests, like us as investors, back when we were younger, kind of seeing what it looks like today. How do you think this will, like, I haven't picked up a video game in forever, and all of a sudden I've been playing Fortnite. I bought some characters just for shits and giggles. How do you think these two things interacting will change the gaming sector? Like, because I'm sure that there's a much larger, broader concept of interest, not through the governance, ownership, the economies of games. Effectively, no one who was interested in economy was really interested in gaming, but here it's at your front doorstep. What types of new innovation takes place?
Yeah, there is so many different things that we don't consider gaming because it's not fun, but it's actually can happen within the context of a game. You mentioned a few, economic, or having a job, or having to vote, or having to just socialize. Why people gathering just for those concerts in Fortnite? Because they want to be able to interact with each other in a common space. And they might not be able to do it physically, so they go in the digital world. And I think that's the beautiful element that brings everyone together right now, is that the gaming space, the fact that gaming has been developing those persistent open worlds for decades now, gives them a perfect platform to entertain further than just boom boom shooting, and that's really interesting for me right now, is to develop those things that are far beyond the pure concept of the core gameplay that we have, but to develop system that enables player decision, player interaction, social habits, maybe even having people earning their life through our digital worlds. And I think that's really something that will bring people all together in those platforms.
We've seen a few successful players out there: Axie Infinity, Sandbox. What are some of the, I guess, the pros and the cons? Like, what are some of the things you think that you guys will follow, and where are some of the mistakes you think these companies have made that you'll try to correct on?
Yeah, I think we do believe that when you are a game maker such as ourselves, you need to not forget to make a good game. Whether you want it to be the perfect platform, the perfect project for people to earn a living, whether you want to allow people to create kind of a theme park of different attractions. I think ultimately you need what we're looking at all those projects. What we want to develop is a true core game, and we want to expand upon that, upon having a core fun game that people like to connect to with their friends or to find new friends. We want to expand on that by cherry picking some of the good ideas there. We're not Web3 natives. We're coming from the Web3 world, and we're humbly learning our way there. But this core element of making a fun game first, and then adding all those components where people can earn a living, that comes from the play to earn kind of mechanism, or whether it's to have more social gathering interaction, a little bit like the sandbox, or a little bit more creators impact thing. All those things are fun, but we believe in having a full, consistent world that you can interact with first and foremost. So I think there are some goods and some interesting features in all those projects, but we have yet to see a true game that expand upon all the possibility and the core philosophy of Web3, which in our opinion are true ownership, composability of contracts, and all the things that goes with that, and obviously the security and the decentralization of control. So that's very interesting for us.
Nice. Yeah, we think we're just scratching the surface too. You know, I've been a big fan of this technology for a bunch of years, and every time I get here, it's doing something different that I hadn't quite expected.
Yeah.
One of those things is identity.
Yeah.
How are you guys looking at player stats within the game, whether it's time spent in the game, trading? How do you view identity within the game from each character?
Yeah, so each character will have obviously its own representation. You will pick and choose your character, whether it's coming from another IP that we partner with, or it's our own very own characters that you decide to play. And the self-expression of every player is extremely important for us. So every player should be able to express themselves and be itself within this world. I think the other thing that we want to encourage and that we're developing is revolves around the fact that the activity and the contribution you have in the game, or to the game and to the community, will be rewarded and will be exposed to you and to other players. So for instance, one of the things that we are granting to every player joining Live Beyond is what we call the small apartment. And this apartment is your very first own room that you can decorate, that you can show off your rewards or your trophies, that you can invite your player friends to show off. And so I think this is really this is the very first step for us to actually let people present themselves and showcase what they've been doing.
So I'll step back for a sec. I guess where my aim for identity was like the player identity.
Oh,
you know, whether we're KYCing them or not.
Sure.
How are we measuring like the data? Like, you know, in so many of these business models, whether it's free to play or even just traditional kind of market space, the participant, like the consumer, has turned into the product through all those data points. How are you guys witnessing the development of the data points and the identity to the player, regardless of if you know they're like first name or last name? Because you've got wallets and accounts that are of stake. How are you looking at that part of the identity?
I think for sorry for that. So yeah, absolutely, you're right. I mean, there is so many data available if you want to track and to try to know your customers so deeply. So there are two sides to this story. First, you know, we're more interested in the player data related to its contribution to the game than to its detailed identity and being able to do whatever with those data about where you live and how you and what's your name and so on and so forth. We don't even collecting those data, to be honest. It's very a lean process to jump in the game. You just have an email, a password, and a wallet, and that's it. You're set. When it comes, however, the second side of this story is obviously we also need to be cautious about the security of what we are putting out there and making sure that there is no abuse to the economy, maybe linked to this product, etc. So for certain very specific actions, we're going to KYC people, or we're going to ask people to go through a KYC process, because it's also important to protect the whole community from abuse if you want to create a safe space. So it's a fine balance between the two, but we're not interested in making the consumer, the product, in the very natural sense of, okay, we got all the data and we're gonna, push you all the very specific ads you never asked for.
Well, it's one of those questions too. Like, I think we got one of the Darewise drops because we had a mutant ape in that wallet, effectively. So we know that some certain types of identity are super valuable. So I'm just interested to see how that space evolves. We're interested in the end result of sovereign identity, which has nothing to do with your guys' mission statement, but we think it comes from the games as well. So I thought I'd ask.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. You're right.
So Vincent, I was sharing some B-roll from your guys' drop in there. Do you want to, when can we be able to play the game? When you coming online next so we can play together?
End of June, a few weeks to wait.
So how, in terms of like, how long have you guys been working on Life Beyond was it running in parallel? And what's that been like bridging into let's say the Web3 space, and where are you building? Because I think it was because of the mutant ape. I'm assuming it's on Ethereum, or was it a Polygon drop?
It's on Polygon. Yeah, it's on Polygon. We've been making the first drop on Polygon. We are the primer chain we're going to build on is Polygon for now. We have this ambition to be multi-chain because we want to welcome and bridge with so many different projects and so many different communities that it's valuable to have that in mind. So we've been starting the development of Life Beyond in 2018. So it's a little bit over 3 years now that we are in the making of this game. We did a lot of R&D first to be able to have the foundation of such an ambitious game, and so the game revolves around 3 core pillars. The first one is what we call pioneering. So in Life Beyond, you're invited to go on a journey to that sci-fi world, and in particular into Dolos, a newfound planet that effectively has been colonized by other aliens.
Would you call it Davos? I hope not.
Dolos.
Okay.
No. We didn't dare. But Dolos has been colonized by other aliens population, and some threats remains. And although this is a beautiful planet that humans truly believe could be sustainable and wants to settle in, the first thing they have to do is to go through the different regions to eliminate or turn down the threats left by other civilization. That's going to be the first era that we call in pioneering. Once that's done, the lands becomes more welcoming and you can start settling. And so this is where the second era will start. This is a settling era where people will be able to purchase a plot of land, small or large, and to start working it and to start developing an activity on it. And whether it's going to be a farm, an hotel, a factory, you name it. It can also be services. Maybe you want to go into transportation of goods or people. And so the settling is going to be this phase where the player-driven economy will take shape. And in parallel, all the regions will be unlocked, all the region will be discovered. And so the settling will expand into the whole planet at some point. And once the settling is a little bit more advanced, we're going to introduce the third era, which is what we call the governance era. And this is where we're going to let the people play a little bit with the rule of the world. and how they want to be governance driven. What's going to be the governance? Is it going to be per the world, or is it going to be per communities, or per section, or per town? We're going to let the player decide, and this is where it's going to be massively important to enter this social aspect. The whole game is PvE, and the only so player versus environment. It's not going to be player versus player. The only thing that can be perceived as player versus player is the economic and political threats that you can impose on your opponent. So this is what we're making effectively, and all that will come with obviously some rewards. We have to introduce our Esc token, ESC20 token. It's going to come soon. You're going to be able to have different ways to acquire it, whether it's through land ownership, through NFT ownership, through in-game activities and service. Yeah, we're gonna go all there. And in-game, obviously, you'll be able to craft your own NFTs and own them and sell them on the secondary markets.
So what does the community member onboarding process look like? You know, a lot of web, or let's just say native game players don't know anything about this technology, and it's not super easy once you step in because it's quite confusing. How are you guys managing the onboarding process into wallets effectively? Yes.
So you're right. At the very beginning, we were very traditional in our approach to talk to gamers first, but the more we entered into the Web3 space, the more we added component that resonate with this, the more we started to talk to NFT enthusiasts and crypto gamers and all that. We were a little bit less afraid, I'll say, by the friction that is imposed by wallet creation and transaction and all those steps. So right now we are in a fun mix between those guys who've been in that crypto space for a while, and they are very welcoming to new, let's say, more mainstream audience or mainstream gamers. And so we're trying to be as as passionate and as educational as we can, so we can meet both ends. But we also have to say that the early crypto community we engaged with was extremely supportive in helping us onboard more mainstream people. So yeah, it's been a fun journey, and I think we're still learning. There is still so much friction when you want to interact with the blockchain that we still have some progress to do there.
Yeah, that's the thing of being about the cutting edge.
Yeah.
there's grinding left still to be done, some polishing here and there.
Absolutely.
So my interest is also in how you can get so many people to play a game.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things, again, free to earn offers is that you can have a brand be adopted without the upfront cost, like something like Fortnite, where you clearly, if I get to play the game, find out if I like it. If I like it, I'll continue to play it. Because you're dealing with two separate technologies, I guess, gaming and then blockchain or cryptography on the other end to represent ownership and some of the other in-game governance and security structures that might be positioned. How are you guys communicating around that blockchain conversation? Like, because it's a difficult one to navigate. Like, do you think Polygon is the be all end all? Like, how are you guys as a team managing the tech conversation outside of the game world, like just Web3?
Absolutely. I mean, for us, we consider that as any new technology we have to interact with in our project. Making a game is not just opening a software and making it all. It's interacting already with so many different technology. You're making online, you have to deal with servers, front end, back ends. You have to deal with security. You have to deal with databases. You have to deal with art and all the components of it, and obviously coding and interacting with the code itself. So we're not considering it as different as any other technology that we have to integrate. However, what's very important from the get-go is that we didn't want a black box. We didn't want to enter a world or plug in a black box to our game and shit happens. So that's why we wanted to stay close to mainnet Ethereum, and that's also why we wanted to interact mostly in, let's say, more open technologies such as Solidity and all that. And so we are going step by step in this. We are integrating. Obviously, we have started integrating out of game, stuff like obviously wallet connection and NFT scrapping, and being able to interact with the different users connecting to the websites to grant them NFTs or grant them rights, etc., etc. Now we are starting June. We're starting to see interaction within the game itself. So if you're connected and you have certain NFT from a collection, then you will be able to see them in the game even. And further down the road, what we want to do is we obviously want to do more and more transaction or more and more activities in game on the blockchain. And meaning that obviously you'll be able to register certain activities, certain transaction directly on chain. When it comes to Polygon, I mean, for us, it was we had to make a choice. We had to decide where to start. We had a portfolio of maybe 20 different options, and we had to think, okay, what makes sense for a project considering certain criteria. And one of them, as I said, was trying to stay not too far from mainnet ETH. The other one was, okay, what's the market look like when it comes to NFT, which is a very important component in our game. And ultimately, what kind of support can we expect from the technology? How robust it is right now, and what type of support we can get from them. And we ended up with fewer options that to start with, but we decided to go with Polygon. And as I said, the ultimate vision is that it's not that and done. It should be multiple chain compatibility. So we also be able to interact with more community, more projects, and different maybe have the chains interact differently with our game depending on what they can provide.
Yeah, that's one of those weird ones. Yeah, I went when I first got the PlayStation again. I was looking for CDs to buy, and then people are like, "Wait, you don't need to go buy a disc anymore." I was like, "Oh yeah, you can just, just download files." This kind of change of medium of function. For our last thoughts here, you've got Life Beyond coming online in near the end of June. What's that going to look like? What's going to be available, and how much further down the roadmap are you guys working as well?
So what can I tell you now? I think one of the biggest things that we're working on right now, obviously, we have this live game coming up in a few weeks, so there's so many things to fix right now. But down the road, what we want to do is obviously we want to introduce the land mechanism, which is a very important one, both on the NFT and economy side of things. And the second thing is also because technologically it's a true challenge to come up with something that is robust enough to welcome so many players. The other thing is that we do have some work to do still on our token introduction, and I think this one is a beast to master, especially in the current market, to do it properly, to do it right, and to interact with the right people from the get-go. So and the rest is obviously to keep engaging and rewarding the early adopters of the community through various activities and events. So yeah, we're hard at work right now, and we are still missing heads and fingers to help us. So if you're in that space, you're looking for a job.
Yeah, dive into that. I know, we like investing in a bunch of these companies early, and we know that there's a bunch of them that are very well funded right now. So if you happen to be interested in finding yourself a new job in the gaming sector, what would you recommend, Vincent?
Well, that really depends. I think right now, any sector in the gaming industry is in lack of talent. So whether you want to be an artist,
where are you guys looking for specifically?
So right now we have open position in coding, in gameplay programming, in art, in animation, in music, in sound. We have open position in backend development and what we call blockchain development as well. And I particularly am still looking for a very good product manager to work alongside me. So if you happen to be one of them, ping me.
Awesome. Yeah. As much as we focus on investing, I try to convince everyone to focus on doing what they're passionate about too.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. It's been a pleasure to chat today, Vincent. Is there any final thoughts you want to share with the Bear family? I know all the links for Life Beyond Darewise are down in the links section down below. Leave your thoughts, your comments, questions, ladies and gentlemen. But
Thank
Vincent,
you, everyone.
I'll leave you with the last kind of calls to action here as we jump off.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure. I can't wait to deliver more of the roadmap. I know some of the investors hearing this podcast will probably be looking at what's coming next, and I can assure you that there is some very interesting things coming your way. And Animoca is going to be a great advocate for this. So thank you very much. Feel free to engage with us. We love interacting. We love discussing what's coming next in our vision. So thank you again for the opportunity.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, Vincent. What we'll do is we'll try to do a live game version here. I know we've got a bunch of these games are going to be hitting the play stream. Oh, so that's, I guess, kind of last question. What platform is it going to be available on? Is this desktop only? Or are you guys going to go mobile too?
Yeah. So right now we're developing for desktop, but our vision is that the device for gaming is only going to be a commodity. You shouldn't have to choose which game you're going to play depending on the platform. You should be able to play any game on any platform, on any device you like. So our vision is that, yes, you own a tablet. It is and it is not. Back in 2018, we already had a demo of Life Beyond that was running simultaneously on PC, desktop, and mobile, and you could play all together in the same world.
Oh, great!
So it's in the way we design our game. Natively.
Oh, yeah, that's important. Yeah, we think mobile is hyper important.
Yes, absolutely. We do too.
That's a good choice. Well, awesome. Bear family. Vincent, I'll keep you on just for 1 second after I close this off. But Bear family, thank you for joining us. If you made it through the almost hour-long conversation, thanks for that, Vincent. Tons of fun, always learning more about the GameFi sector. For those of you that are new to investing, we try, obviously try to exercise caution in any idea. That's why we focus on mantras like heads we win, tails we only lose a little. I think personally the gaming sector is going to change the face of finance basically forever. So it's a really interesting potential that are coming both between these two worlds. So Vincent, great to have you on today. And Bear family, thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys again on the next episode. Wait, I think I can push this. Yeah, look at that.